But Moustafa Fahour, I should say, I hope I pronounced that correctly, has received an Order of Australia as a founder and director of the Islamic Museum of Australia. Moustafa, welcome to the Conversation Hour. For Muslims in Victoria, how are you getting together at the moment? Excuse my ignorance, but how many times a day do you actually pray?
So as Muslims, we pray 5 times a day.
Yep. And how is that now impacted if you maybe can't pray where you normally would?
Yes, so it has been a difficult moment, and many mosques and organisations going through that transition period. I'm connected to Preston Mosque, which is one of the largest, first largest mosque in Victoria. And in essence, they've taken leadership from the Australian National Board of Imams that have come back and said it's okay, praying at home is the same way as praying in the mosque during this pandemic. So the leadership has been incredible.
And a lot of ceremonies and events in the Muslim faith involve people coming together and celebrating. Is that difficult at this time when everyone's staying away to try and think about, I suppose, future events and how you're going to manage through this period?
Yes, it has been difficult. And the thing on every Muslim's mind is Ramadan that comes up next month, which is one of the holiest months of the year, where majority of the Muslims come out to the mosques, especially for the Taraweeh prayer. So the mosque, especially Preston Mosque, have been quite, forward-thinking. And what they've done now is the imam there will be streaming himself and be streaming the prayers online. They've introduced Zoom for the talks and the lectures now. And not only that, one thing that, was quite surprising, I thought was amazing leadership, was they also offered services for, people that are alone, that want to talk, whether it's via video conference, whether it's via Zoom, or even text message to help them get through these tough times.
And Moustafa, how important, I guess, are the roles of leaders at the moment, especially in the Muslim community? Who is stepping up and how are they having to rise up and make sure that everybody feels connected and that all of the information is getting out there and that no one feels lost at the moment?
Yes, the role the Australian National Imams Council has taken in terms of leadership in this pandemic has been wonderful. They've kept every Islamic organisation, and they've managed to get over 200 organisations together. They've brought different experts in the field of, viral infections, and even allowing the Australian Fatwa Council to come out and, work with the Australian government and the health authorities in terms of closing mosques, but giving people the comfort that during this time, although the mosques are closed, you can continue to pray at home, and the reward is very similar as going to a mosque. But it is a difficult time, and it is a time that, a lot of these organisations, us at the Islamic Museum of Australia is working on a program called, IMA at Home. How do we bring the Islamic Museum to the home? How do we open our educational portal on Australian Muslim history, on Islamic architecture to parents, and they could teach their children while they're together with them, in the household.
And Ramadan, as you mentioned earlier, is coming up. It's in April this year. It starts at the end of April this year. Is that right? So what is the plan for things like iftars and when people come together to break fast and so forth, and prayers and so forth? Do you have that plan in place now?
Yes, it's a very difficult time because iftars you're meant to open your household, you're meant to invite people, you're meant to all celebrate and eating it, when the sun goes down, and then you all congregate to the mosque after it. So the mosques are working through it. I know Preston Mosque has a plan in place. They continually to advise about the COVID-19 update, that, this is the time to spend, alone with your families in the household, but, via Zoom and live streaming, the imam will still lead those prayers and stream it to the household so they can pray at home.
Moustafa Fahour, thank you very much for joining us on the Conversation Hour today and telling us what's happening with your faith.
Thank you so much for having me.